Yeah, it was certainly an exciting ceremony to be at, and especially to be able to celebrate the inaugural graduation of the first class of the BPHE degree. And so I tried to formulate my thoughts and words a little bit more directed to them, but hopefully broad enough that that it resonated with all of the graduates. And so I focused my comments around, well, generally around the opportunities that await them now that they've graduated. And I tried to convey 5 lessons that I've learned, and I presented them as wellness lessons to people. And the first one was to not just sit there. And I meant it from a physiologic perspective, that excessive sitting means not enough physical activity. That's bad for our health. But even beyond that, to just challenge themselves, to not be lethargic, not to be apathetic, to seize the moment, to go and make a difference in their worlds, to not just sit there. The second wellness lesson was to get outside and play. Some of the graduates I know were in environmental studies and in different areas, and I think as a society, as people, we're divorcing ourselves from nature. In fact, phrases have been coined, nature deficit disorder, to describe the actual condition of disconnecting with nature, and that our younger generation that is mesmerized by digital worlds have done that we cocoon inside our homes, our workplaces, our schools, and disconnect with nature, with whom we have evolved together. And so I think that's a bad thing from a health, a wellness, an environmental sustainability perspective. The third lesson, wellness lesson, was that the arrows go both ways, that when you're thinking about different models, and the example I gave was from a health perspective in terms of what's precipitating obesity in the world, and it's all these global forces at an international level, national forces, community forces that affect our individual behavior. But when these models are presented, and you could take examples from sociology and others as well, they tend to be unidirectional. That this force affects this subordinate level, affects this subordinate level, and so on, to the extent that we're just victims at the back end and there's nothing we can do about it. And I challenge the graduates to not believe that, because I don't believe it. That they have power down at the end of the arrows to change the direction and the meaning of the arrows going backwards. That so rather than a disempowering model, it's an empowering model. And so we challenge them to do that. The fourth wellness lesson was telling them to not duplicate, but initiate. Don't stay trapped inside the box. Push it out, bend it, stretch it, transform it. In all things that you do. And I gave information that, scientifically as researchers, we move forward incrementally. Our thought processes generally move forward very slowly, inside the box, or maybe just on the edges of the box. And we duplicate things, we copy things, we do it in business, we do it all over the place. And they have an opportunity with the information that's available and the technology that's available to stop operating within that constrained paradigm. So again, seize the moment, reach beyond, step outside of the box, don't duplicate, initiate. And then the final wellness message was pay it forward. So let's really try with these new leaders, these new healthy active living leaders from the new BPHE class, but also all of the graduates, go forward with a glasses half full attitude, with a feeling of paying it forward rather than pay back, leaving the world a better place than what you found it, giving more than your share. And this attitude, and if we do it, I just believe it's got such transformational powers, and it's got to start with a group of young people, a group of new leaders going forward. And so I challenge them to do that, to put the issues of the world, environmentalism, health, the economy, whatever the big drivers are, put that first and our own selfish needs second. And if we do that, and there's this mass action effect, we can push the arrows back the other way, we can get outside and play, we can stop sitting. And so I was trying to use some phrases that was hoping would resonate with them. They might think about on the drive home if they can only remember a few words, but then they might be able to put meaning to that in a decision that they make going forward about whether or not they're going to volunteer for something, whether or not they're going to litter, whatever that particular case may be. So that's what I wanted to convey to them. Those are pearls of wisdom that I've gathered, fragments of wisdom that I've gathered in my time, and I firmly believe in it, and I think the world will be a better place, and their impact on the world will be larger if they take heed to some of those lessons. Well, I mean, on a personal level, I'm most proud of having an enduring marriage to my wife and having 4 healthy kids, and that's certainly most important. Also, personally, I'm proud of the fact that I've walked the walk from a healthy, active living perspective. I've been very active my whole life, entered and completed 18 marathons, completed hundreds of road races, was an honorary selection to carry the torch for the last Olympics and other designations like that. So that on a sort of a personal level has big meaning. I think professionally, I'm proud of the fact that I've been able to attract good quality colleagues and students that have been able to take and build off some of my ideas and make me look good. And that's that's the truth, and that's the way these things happen. And so from the development of Canadian physical activity guidelines and the development of Canadian sedentary guidelines, so these are public health messages that go across the country that will reach virtually every Canadian, and our lab led that, and so in partnership with the Canadian Society for Exercise Physiology. So we're proud of that. I'm proud of the fact that I was involved in the initiation and the perpetuation of the Active Healthy Kids Canada report card, which is a knowledge synthesis exercise that brings together every year all of the relevant research into a coffee table type of format that a decision maker, a politician, a provincial leader, or a mom or a dad could look at and understand where we're at when it comes to children's physical activity right now. Where can we do better? Is it at school, at home, in the community, and so on? And that exercise through Active Healthy Kids Canada has been tremendously successful. I'm proud of the work that we've done with the Old Order Amish and Old Order Mennonite communities, trying to use their lifestyle as a model to look back in time. I think it's been very informative as we try and dissect why is it that our healthy active living is falling off, and are the answers that we come up with in think tanks the right ones. And interestingly enough, when we look at those agrarian preserving communities, and we're doing the same now with studies in rural Kenya, we find that the approaches that we take and the priorities that we believe we need to work on here to transform society to maintain healthy active living, they're not at all the same things that we actually see when we look back in time before the obesity epidemic or inactivity epidemic occurred. And so I'm proud of those things as well. And I believe it was our work in 2000 in the Canadian Medical Association Journal that really launched the childhood obesity epidemic mantra in Canada. It was the first paper that demonstrated the tripling in the prevalence of childhood obesity, and that statement that I made during my interviews, that tripling of childhood obesity, has resonated. I see it on the bottom of golf holes, I see it in commercials, I see it all over the place, and I think we're unnecessarily fixated on body weights. It's really healthy active living that we need to be focusing on, but that got us a hook into the big leagues. And you have to be in the big leagues to transform a society. You can't be the 97th item on the agenda. And so I'm proud of the fact that we did that, and hopefully in some small way are making our world a little bit better because of it. It's a big honor. It's free. All the others I had to pay a lot for. So Mom and Dad will be very happy to hear that this one was free. It means a lot. I have a lot of connections to this community, to this university, and I've spent a lot of time here. I've got friends that are here. The fact that it's recognition at a very high level from your colleagues, your peers, is very rewarding. I mean, it's not why we do our work, but it's very gratifying when you have worked long and hard on an issue and pounding away at it, that someone seems to be taking notice. And even the process of receiving an honorary doctorate and something like this has potential impact, has the potential to elevate the issue, to get more people talking about the issue. So in that regard, I believe it's part of an ongoing advocacy process. But personally, it's very rewarding. It's nice to have my family here with me to see this happen. It's nice to be able to visit friends, to get back to a spot that I feel very at home at, and I'm very proud and very honored that Nipissing saw me suitable to bestow this upon me.